Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 listed of pointless things. Why are we flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is this dwarf skeleton that you find on your way to wetlands from Dunmoreau. And at first you're just like, oh, that's kind of weird. There's like this skeleton with blood all around. There's like a shield and a broken barrel and a hammer or something. I don't know. And then you're like, all right, but apparently there is a quest, which I think I started kind of remembering from way back when, because I think this was in Classic WoW, where you're supposed to find a missing pilot, and then you go to find him, and it turns out he crashed, and then he got eaten by a bear or something, which, like, dude, that's some bad luck. Not only do you crash your plane, but then you get eaten by a bear, which I think for the quest you have to kill the bear named the Mangle. Here's a priest actually doing that. At least I think that's what they're doing. I hope so. Otherwise, this is completely infactual. Infactual? Is that even a word? I don't think it is. But either way, I feel like a lot of people have seen this skeleton. I feel like a lot of people have walked past this guy. Some people probably know all about him. Some people probably have no idea. But now you do. And that's number 10. 9. Number 9 is the tree trunk skeleton in the Hillsborough foothills, and this one's a little creepy, honestly. I actually saw this one initially, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty fun one. You know, just chilling in a tree trunk, a random skeleton, but then I realized, like, it's like holding this doll, and at first you're like, maybe this is a kid, but, like, it feels like this looks like a full-grown skeleton, you know what I mean? So I was like, what happened here? There's like a lot of questions I have. And like, why are they hiding in this tree trunk? Are they hiding from somebody? Like, I guess this is just north of Tarn Mill. So like, maybe they were trying to escape the undead, or they're like bordering the Alterac Mountains. Maybe they like ran away from the ogres. Maybe, I don't know. If there's any lore people, I need to ask like Noble or something about this. Like, Noble, look into the tree trunk skeleton, or like theory craft something for me, because this is actually really interesting. And I tried Googling it, and there's only like one thing about it, and they're just like, yeah, it's pretty creepy. So that's number 9. 8. Number 8 are some skeletons that you find on the second floor of the barber shop in Stormwind, and they are really weird. It's like 2 baby gnome creatures holding hands under the floorboards. I don't even know who thought this up. I don't know who thought this up, but apparently I did some research, because I was like, why is this even here? Is this just a goof? Is this something they did for fun? And so back in the day, I found a 13-year-ago post that said the barber used to have a name like Sweeney Todd, a reference to Sweeney Todd, the demon barber. They took the name out for probably copyright reasons, and I guess that would explain why there's skeletons there, because, you know, there's a demon barber killing people, I guess. But it's still really weird. like even if they just put normal skeletons there, you know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, he's got normal. But it's the fact that it's these weird baby gnomes. And it's like 2 of them and they're holding hands. Like, what happened? What happened? It's number 8. 7. Number 7 is the Noggenfogger elixir skeleton. And I feel like this is one of the most notorious skeletons in the game, because I feel like everybody's drank a Noggenfogger elixir at some point in their World of Warcraft playing days. One thing that I didn't know is how crazy Marin Noggenfogger, the guy who created the elixir, his like backstory is, because when he starts out, you go do the quest, and it's like, oh, okay, you know, you help this guy go get a Douglan, and then you go to Hinterlands, or is it yeah, it's Hinterlands. You go to the Hinterlands, and then Sprinkle whatever's like, go get a thing from Hinterlands, and then you do that, and then you make the Noggenfogger elixir, and then you drink it, and you're like, whoa, you either shrink down, you get like slow fall or something, or you become a skeleton. But in Cataclysm, he becomes the leader of Gadgetzan, and then in Legion, it seems like he has a rogue quest line in the Class Order campaign in the Hall of Shadows. So like, this dude just goes from making a elixir in Gadgetzan and being like, to being like one of the most notorious goblins in World of Warcraft. And to me, that's pretty awesome, and that's one of the reasons why this is number 7. But the other reason is this is just a cool buff. You can drink this, you become a skeleton, you get a whole bunch of animations, you can mount up while you have the buff, and it's great. And it's number 7. 6. Number 6 are these skeleton troll pirate zombies. I had to put it on this list because there's like so many cool things going on with these skeletons. I mean, first, again, they are skeleton trolls that are also pirates, that are also some of the best like animated skeleton models in World of Warcraft. And they're just surrounded by a bunch of gold. All their armor's made of gold, and they're just too good to not include in this list. However, remember, this is a pointless list. I mean, this guy is mining a bug, so that's kind of pointless, but that's why they're not higher up. I mean, I felt like this was a good spot for them, right in the middle. Appreciating them for how detailed and cool they are, especially in expansion like BFA, where people weren't so thrilled with everything. But again, the art team killing it in BFA, great stuff. And I think they're just a little too much detail to get higher ranked in this pointless list, but they still deserve to get looked at, and that's why they're number 6. 5. Number 5 is the Isaac Newton skeleton, and I think this is one of the more clever skeletons they actually put into the game. Or just one of the more clever things in general they put in the game. So obviously, Isaac Newton sitting under a tree gets hit in the head with an apple, and he discovers gravity, right? Or that's the story. So in this, obviously, he hasn't discovered gravity because there's a bunch of floating islands all over. So it's like, there's a little bit of humor there. And then there's obviously the stories of like shooting apples off someone's head with a bow. And so it seems like instead of that, they just used an axe to try to get an apple off his head, and it just, sliced his head in two. Which I think is a William Tell story, from what I was looking into. But either way, I think they might even just be killing 2 birds with 1 stone right here with William Tell, Isaac Newton, and just having a good time. Either way, this is a fun little Easter egg skeleton. And that's why it's number 5. 4. Number 4 is the Highmaul elevator skeleton, and this one's kind of crazy. I tried to look up stuff on it, and I found absolutely nothing. At first, I thought it was a reference to people dying to, like, the elevator boss, you know what I mean? Getting crushed by the elevator or whatever. But then, just thinking about it more, it seems like they just didn't like somebody. I don't know if it was an ogre, because the skeleton's kind of a big skeleton, so I'd imagine it's an ogre. And they just strapped him up to the bottom of this elevator that goes up and down, and I don't know if he got crushed to death. I don't think he did, because there's like a spike coming out, so I don't think it would crush him, but I think it looks like they just strapped him up to it, and then he just died eventually. Like, that seems like a terrible way to die. Like, you essentially just go up and down constantly, you starve, you get dehydrated, and then, one day you're just dead, and then you just slowly wither away. Ogres are ruthless, man. But if you know anything about this one, let me know, because this might be another one I have to ask Noble about or just look more into, because it's just kind of crazy. Like, is there any ogre lore of them like doing this in books or anything? I have no idea, but I had to put this up on the list, and that's why it's number 4. 3. For number 3, I had to get into my underwater swimming apparatus that I'm using to get close to the whale skeletons down there. It's definitely not me talking into my cupped hands. Either way, there's a lot of theory behind these. There's a big pearl down there, where some people theory crafted that it's involving the puzzle box of Yogg Saron. Other people think it's just some weird dev stuff that they didn't finish working on and left it out there. But either way, it's kind of creepy that you can get this far out and then die in the middle of the ocean. It's a lot of people's fear, especially because, there's the secret people trying to get so close to click that pearl. But even if you click the pearl, you might even die. So I don't even know. Oh God, we're running out of air. Oh boy, we're gonna die. 2. Bone Storm. I had to do it. Number 2 is Lord Marrowgar. Lord Marrowgar is the first boss of the Icecrown Citadel, and he was pieced together by the Lich King from the bones of 1,000 vanquished adventurers. So literally, this dude is made up of 1,000 skeletons. Like, that alone should make him one of the greatest skeletons of all time, right? Like, he's literally 1,000 skeletons meshed together by the Lich King and then just, like, made into this crazy raid boss that you fight as the first boss of the Ice Crown Citadel. And then he obviously has his notorious Bone Storm ability. So, I mean, how can Lord Marrowgar not be number 1? I guess that's because we're about to find out. 1. And number 1 is the pointless top 10 skeleton. That's right, the skeleton that we show at the start of every episode that's inside of this statue, because inside pointless things are treasure. How could that not be number 1? I figured I would actually take this time, though, to talk a bit about the statue, now that we're actually, you know, talking about it. So this is at Gennaro's Point, which is a small island just outside Booty Bay. Obviously, this big unknown goblin statue is a reference to Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro, which, you know, Gennaro's Point, Rio de Janeiro. Yep. Also, this used to be a full-on goblin statue, and then in the Cataclysm, his arm got cut off, and then we were able to see inside that there's a bunch of treasure and a skeleton guy. So, hey, there you go. There's a little bit of lore behind the statue. I don't know much about the skeleton inside, but inside pointless things are treasure, and he knew that, and he tried to get it, but he died. Wait a second, there's another skeleton back there. I never even noticed that one. Oh well, it's not as cool. The main one's got a sword in its mouth, so it's just cooler by law. So yeah. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another episode of Pointless Top 10. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube lingo, and click those Pointless Top 10s on the screen if you want to watch some more Pointless Top 10s. Okay? Okay. See ya.